Well, hello everyone and welcome to Connect Groups. It's crazy to think that this is the final week of Connect Groups for this semester. I don't know about you, but in my life it just seems like time is going quicker and quicker, especially as I get older. So here's what I want to do though. I want to thank you for something and then I want to ask something of you. Here's what I want to thank you for. I want to thank you for being committed to your group. So you that attend groups, thank you for every single week going and investing in other people's lives and allowing them to invest in your lives. But I also want to thank the Connect Group leaders. I would love for all of you to make sure that you thank whoever it is that hosts your group, because it is a lot of work. I'm sure there's a ton of benefit and blessing to it. They love doing it, but there's also a lot of work, especially those that are hosting in their homes. You have to clean before your group comes and then leaves, and then you got to clean again. And so that is a lot of responsibility. But it's not just physical responsibility, there's spiritual responsibility. They're thinking about you, they're praying for you, they're navigating some of the difficult just areas of life with you. And so I want to thank all of our Connect Group leaders. You are amazing, you are the backbone of LCC, and I appreciate and I love each one of you. So here's what I want to do now is ask something of you. I want to ask each one of you to stay committed to your group. So over the next month and a half, we're going to pause as for the holiday season of Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, but I still want you to be connected, and then I want each one of you to re-up with your groups for the next semester. We hope and pray that everyone gets connected in their Connect Groups for more than just a semester, more than just a year, that it becomes a commitment of your life. And so I'm asking you to just plan accordingly that starting in January, you will once again join your group and continue the blessing that you've already experienced. All right, so let's take a moment and recap this past Sunday's message. So once again, we had a guest speaker. That was just a kind of an odd thing of scheduling, that we would have 2 weeks in a row where we had two guest speakers. One of the reasons is because Keith, who was initially supposed to come, blew out his Achilles, and so we had to move his date. But here's what I know. Both of them were dynamic speakers, and you were blessed by them. So this past Sunday was one of my closest friends, Tim Moore, who came to speak. And his message was powerful and challenging. As he talked about the idea, using the person of Joshua and his story, he talked about how all of us are called to take these steps of faith. And the phrase he kept using, just to make it easy to remember, was that God calls us to step on it. That God calls us to take a step of faith out, and then God will bless us. And that's hard for us. It's hard for us because we want something in hand. We want the guarantee before we step out in faith. But here's the truth, is our relationship with God, the whole foundation of our relationship, the only way we can be in a relationship is through faith, that we trust in God. And so he will always be asking us to take steps of faith. So the challenge from Sunday's message is a challenge for every single one of our lives. What is God calling you to do today that requires faith? What is it that he's setting in front of you where there's no physical guarantee? Now, there's a spiritual guarantee from God, and when God guarantees something, it's going to happen. But in your own life and mind and way of thinking, what is it that God has set in front of you that as you're looking at it, you're thinking, there's no guarantee, but yet you know God is calling? That is the challenge for you to step on it, to take that step out in faith. And God's promise to us is that he will be with us and he will bless us. And everywhere we go, as long as we're taking those steps of faith, God will continue to bless us and give us exactly where it is that we step. And so in our lives, as Pastor Tim challenged us, we have to have the Word of God in our lives, because as Satan tries to come against us and bully us and manipulate our minds, we have to have truth to combat that. And so it's important not just to periodically hear the Word of God, but we need to read it, we need to memorize it, we need to meditate on it so that we can use it to combat the lies that Satan tells us so that we can continue to take steps of faith. So here's the challenge for you as a group. It's a challenge that I give you frequently. And it's to ask yourself this question: what is the step that God has set in front of me now? Is it something relational, to forgive someone, to reach out to them, to start the process of restoration? Is it something physical God's asked you to do? Did he ask you to start to use your talents and abilities for his purposes? Is it something financial that God has challenged you to start giving to the church and to be generous and go above and beyond? Is it something else besides one of the things that I've listed? What is it that God has challenged you in? And then today, will you take the step of faith to step on it, to step out into whatever it is that God has for you? Because here's the truth. If you don't, what you think you're holding on to and what you think you're experiencing about having control, and you think maybe your life would be better because you're controlling it, that's a cheap imitation of the life that Jesus wants to give you. When we step out, that's when we experience life at its fullest. So here's my challenge. Be open and honest. Share specifically. Get that accountability out there. Tell the people in your group the area that God has challenged you in so that they can follow up with you and see if you have taken that step of faith. Guys, I love you. Thanks again for being a part of a Connect group. Make sure that next semester you sign right back up. I love you. I'll see you this Sunday as I'm teaching live. God bless you.